What's up, everyone out there in YouTube land? It's me, Perry Lovewhistle, and I'm back on Engrosser in Project 1999 Green. And I got a couple of pieces of really good advice in the comments of my last video. First, Peter Lustig gave me the tip that basically since Engrosser is so well twinked, he should still be able to solo. And Peter, you were right. As you can see, I am now level 25. I got through level 23 and 24 soloing the first floor of Unrest. And at this point, everything's kind of getting green, dark green. I could still get experience for it. But I am headed out of Unrest because of another comment. Christopher G7483 has pointed out that along the same lines of the Eye of Stormhammer quest, there is the Langseax quest that starts in Hallis, but mostly takes place in the Karanas. So I'm headed out of Dagnors. I'm going to grab a port and do a long run and get started because I think there's a couple of hurdles that I'm going to have to get across to get this quest done. So let's fight this Tidal Lord real quick, and then I will see you all in Hallis. So the quest starts here in Hallis at McDaniel's Smokes and Spirits, and I generally don't have faction problems in Hallis. Nobody hates me, as you can see, a lot of apprehensive though. And the quest starts with Rinth McLannis here, who is also apprehensive. Even if I try and get the level 10 quest that he gives for baby warriors, he says, run while you still can. Wolves of the North can't tolerate your presence. So I need to raise my faction with Wolves of the North before he'll even talk to me. I think it's got to be amiable. The thing is, I wouldn't say every, most of the newbie quests in Hallis raise your faction with the Wolves of the North. So one of my options is I could just walk around the newbie zone in Everfrost, slaughter everything, and bring back the different things that drop for a bunch of individual quests. The downside to that is a lot of those quests are like combined in a box quests, which actually makes Hallis really great for getting cheap containers starting off. But there is another quest that a lot of people know about that is good for both faction and experience. Go down to the Warrior Guild and talk to Lisbeth McNaff. Say I've come to serve Hallis, and she asks for 3 Nullfangs, and she doesn't mind giving me this quest even at apprehensive. So the Nullfangs, which people farm Nullfangs to get quickly through the teens and up to level 20, usually you turn them in down in Kanos. But there is another turn in here. And actually, since she is a warrior, I can actually see I've got a blue line right here on the second blue bubble. And that gave me about 2.5% of my next level. So that's decent experience, and it's farming faction, which means since it's early morning on a weekday, it's off to Blackburrow to slaughter a whole bunch of gnolls. As soon as I figure out how to get out of this pit. Well, after a about 2 hours of extreme fantasy violence, I have managed to get almost 3 stacks of Nullfangs. I was one shy of an even 3 stacks, but Blackborough was starting to get full of people who were actually the appropriate level to fight there. So I wasn't going to steal any more Gnolls. I left. I gave away some of the spiked collars that dropped and came back here to see if this is enough Nullfangs for them to like me. All right. And actually, I managed to get to amiable before I was done with the second stack. So, in case anyone's curious, you can go from apprehensive to amiable with about a stack and a half. And now, Rinth McLannis. What dangerous matter? It seems there be a murderer in these parts. So I'm supposed to track down a murderer. So I'm first supposed to go to Doc's cigar shop and ask him about the murderer. Doc's Cigars. All right, well, I have no idea what he's supposed to respond to, but he is supposed to send me down to the fishing village in the West Karanas, and then they will tell me that frostbite can track prey with sweaty clothing, which brings me back up here where I'm supposed to ask Doc. All right, Doc's not responding to anything I'm supposed to be saying, so this might just be an issue with his programming. I hope that doesn't keep the rest of this quest from working. So he is supposed to send me to find Tundra Jack. And Tundra Jack will say that Iceberg is using the sweaty shirt, which is evidence from a murder, as a collar. But we can get it off of him if we do the lion shipment quest, which is even more running between here and West Karana. See if she actually responds. Yes, she does. I can pick up the lion meat shipment. So I need to go to Einhorst, tell him I am there to pick up the lion meat shipment for Hallis, and then come back here. All right, so down here by the shore in West Karana is Einhorst McManus. So I tell him that I'm here to pick up the lion meat shipment, and he says go to Misla. All right, and she gives me a lion meat shipment, and now I run my tiny little legs back up to Hallis with this. And now I come back to Terrio Danos and give her the lion meat shipment. And she gives me Lion Delight, which is a no-drop food item. Keep in mind, this is a meal. So if you don't have other food in front of it, you will automatically eat it, which would result in even more running to and from the Karanas. So I've got this, which is what I need to give to Iceberg to get his collar from him, and he is out following around Tundra Jack, which is a whole other issue in itself. So Tundra Jack is kind of difficult to find if you're not a ranger, because he wanders all over Everfrost, and he runs fast. Oh, there he is. Not Hasten Bootstrutter fast, but you can see he is kind of an issue. and I can't hail him to get him to stop. So I'm going to have to try and hand off this to Iceberg while moving. Dang it, Iceberg. Ha! And that gets me the sweaty shirt. So now I run back down to West Corona and give the sweaty shirt to Frostbite so that he can track down the murderer. All right. Now I'm at the second to last turn in, and this is where things can go awry. When I turn in the sweaty shirt to Frostbite, two things will happen. One of the two rogues who could be the sort of boss of this quest will spawn. And then after that happens, Frostbite will take off after them. I have a pretty good idea of where he's going to end up because I've got the wiki, but traditionally you would have to follow Frostbite while he runs around the Karanas and gets in fights, and then ultimately end up in the mountains fighting a bandit. The issue here is there's two different rogues that could spawn. One of them, Paglen, is very difficult. According to the wiki, luckily, the person who provided the information on the wiki was a level 25 dwarf warrior. Complete coincidence. If it's Basil, I will apparently be able to have no problem beating him. But if it's Peglin, then I might not win the fight. And I'm not really going to have time to get Zaner over here to finish the fight for me. So I'm going to cross my fingers that it's Basil, and which won't get me the great weapon, but I really don't feel like testing my might against a low 20s undercon. But here goes. Sweaty shirt to Frostbite. And he's off. All right, so it was Peglin. And it looks like I'm getting some help killing him. Big thank you to Motor Breath. Just happened to be up in the mountains, saw Peglin, came and killed him, which is good because I would not have been able to kill him myself, and is letting me loot the corpse. And that is a barbarian head, which would identify as Peglin's head. And now we go back to Hallis. And after a final run through Kanos Hills, we are back at McDaniel Smokes and Spirits for the final turn-in with Rinth McLannis, the murderer's head. which gets me the Langseax of the Wolves, which is the special unique version because Peglin spawned. 5 strength, 5 dex is not bad, plus the 19 damage comes in under the 20 damage cap that doesn't get lifted until, I think, level 20. So yeah, decent little weapon here that is potentially obtainable in the mid-20s if you're really lucky and have someone help you with the last kill. And aside from that, it's just a whole lot of running around. But that is it for the Langseax quest. Thanks for the idea to do this quest. There, unfortunately, was a lot more lore to it that just got cut out by improperly coded NPC responses. The core quest is still here. It's just unfortunate that the whole fact that you're investigating a murder and you have to get the evidence and get it to the dog and all the running around that you've got to do in order to get that done is kind of cut out. And it just becomes go get the lion meat, give the lion meat to the polar bear, give the shirt to the dog, kill the bandit. But regardless, pretty decent little two-hand slasher, which I'm going to go find a newbie to give it to. Feel free to give me any other suggestions of quests that either Engrosser or Zaner can do, because doing these quests definitely makes the grind of EverQuest a lot more tolerable. Until next time, bye.